Hi everyone, welcome back. My name's Morgan. This is my channel Pisces Paperbacks and I look like an actual slob right now. I love that for me. This is the beginning of a 24-hour readathon. Basically, I had a reading hiatus in February when I dove into the shameless fandom and only read fanfiction. And so now I am 5 to 6 books depending on what website, because for some reason Storygraph always says I'm one more book behind than Goodreads does. Anyway, I'm 5 or 6 books behind on my reading goal and I want to catch up because that stresses me out. Also, I'm just like in a reading mood today, so I have tomorrow off and I'm going to try and read as much as I can from midnight to midnight. I am going to sleep a little bit because I need sleep to function, but hopefully I can keep it to like naps, like normal short lengths of time and not like a full 8 hours. The other reason I kind of want to do this is because I went to the library yesterday to renew my library card and I am physically unable of going to the library without getting books. And it just so happens that a lot of the books I got were pretty short. I'm going to go through and with you talk about all these short books I have, because this is also a short books reading challenge situation. I want to try and read as many short books as I can. So here are the ones that I own. Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. This is about a mannequin that comes to life, and I really don't know anything else about this. I think this is kind of like in the tradition of like classic slasher movies, which I love. It's like my favorite horror genre after like ghost possession haunted house stuff. All Systems Read by Martha Wells, which is a sci-fi about a security robot who kind of is like has like developed a personality, which I'm super excited about. I've kind of been on like a sci-fi kick lately. Like currently I'm listening to the audiobook for Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell and I'm loving it. I'm 70% in right now and it's so good, and that book, Winter's Orbit, is my 3rd sci-fi of this month, so this would be the 4th. Anyway, very exciting. Harbor by Rebekah Weatherspoon, which I'll put the picture up here, and that is a kind of romance situation that is not that long, and romance always is faster for me to read than anything else. So those are the ones that I own. 3 of the 4 books I got from the library are super short, and these are all like me being heavily influenced by book internet people books. So 2 of them are because I listen to Ariel Bassett's podcast sometimes, and so All We Shall Know by Donal Ryan, I don't know what this book is about, but it was her favorite book of like 2 years ago, and something about the energy when she describes this book just gives me the impression that I'd like it. Weather by Jenny Offill. This book is only 200 pages, but I feel like it looks a lot longer than that. It maybe just has thick pages. I also don't know what this is about, so I'm doing a great job introducing all of this stuff. And then I have This Is Pleasure by Mary Gateskill, and I picked this up because yesterday I watched literally every single video that Carly from the channel Uncarly has made, and she makes videos where she will read 3 books that have been recommended or mentioned by a celebrity. And so in the Anya Taylor-Joy video she reads this, and this is basically a fictional meditation on the Me Too movement. It's literally 100 pages, so hopefully it won't take me that long. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna finish all of these. When I was gathering this list in my brain, it didn't seem this long. So I am going to go get some food because it's not midnight yet, and then once midnight kicks off, I'm going to start this whole party off with Night of the Mannequins, because I feel like you have to, it's the middle of the night, so you have to read the horror one, right? Am I wrong? I feel like I'm right here. It is just about to turn midnight, so I'm going to start Night of the Mannequins right now. And I wanted to be known that I apparently have literally never opened this book since I bought it at a secondhand store. It has a signed thing on the front page. I'm pretty sure it's like actually signed with pen and not printed. So that's really cool because, again, I've only read one thing before from Stephen Graham Jones, and it was The Only Good Indians, and I loved it. So I'm really excited for this, and so I'm just going to get started right now. Looking good. Let's start this baby. I've realized the flaw in my plan. I thought this would be a fun one to start with, and it is. I'm already 50 pages in. It's like only been half an hour, which is a pretty good rate for me. Stephen Graham Jones is an incredibly good writer, and he writes horror, and I'm extremely stressed. This is stressing me out like a lot, so it's good. It's 1 a.m. and I just finished this. I will admit I might have done a little bit of skimming towards the end because I was very stressed, but it was also like upsetting. I honestly don't know how I feel about this because it was very well written in terms of like execution of the concept. Like I think it was very well executed, but in terms of like enjoyment, I did not. I don't know. I'm like, I want to read something happier now, so I think, honestly, I picked a lot of like literary fiction for this. I don't know why. So I think I might crack open Harbor by Rebekah Weatherspoon, which is a romance, because I always read romance pretty fast, and I feel like that's a little bit lighter in energy and tone, and I kind of need that, so that's what I'm gonna do. Hello, and here's the update. 81% into Harbor. It's 3:30, so that is the equivalent of, how many pages is that? That's 197 pages. So I read almost 200 pages in about 2.5 hours, which seems to be right on track with the pace that I'm setting. This is honestly very helpful because I had no idea what my reading pace was before this. Can you even hear me? I don't have my earbuds in. Anyway, I don't think I ever told you what this is about. So this is the third book in the Beards and Bondage series by Rebekah Weatherspoon, and it is the polyamorous book, which is very exciting. So I know I said I needed something on a lighter note because my last book was like a horror novel, but this one starts off sad as well. And basically the premise is that the main characters are Brooklyn and Vaughn and Shaw. And so Vaughn and Shaw are in a relationship with a woman named Corinne, and Brooklyn is engaged to a man named Josh. And the book starts with Josh and Corinne being killed while they are like on a retreat. They're having an affair. So the main characters, Brooklyn, Vaughn, and Shaw, kind of bond over the fact that they each have the unique experience of their cheating partner like having been murdered and finding out about the cheating when the partner was murdered. I'm 80% in. I didn't realize it was that far. I am really enjoying it. I think it's really fun. I still think I like the second one the best, but it remains to see like how the end of this one's going to shape up. I kind of wish there was like more sex scenes somehow. I like wish there was like there had been like another one so far, but I'm having a really good time. I wasn't super convinced about Vaughn and Shaw in the beginning. They've grown on me as like a couple and like the believability of their relationship as it's like growing with their relationship with Brooklyn, and so good. It's just, I think this is my 5th Rebekah Weatherspoon book. Like, girl knows how to write some bangin' romance. So, hey, and bangin', so I'm gonna keep reading, and I'm probably gonna go to sleep after I finish this book. According to my Kindle, I have about 30 minutes left in the book, like of reading time, so I'm probably gonna go to sleep after that because I will have finished 2 books by like 4 in the morning, which is a pretty good pace if I do say so myself. And then tomorrow, I think the first book I want to start with is This Is Pleasure, because it's the shortest out of all of them. It's not even 100 pages. See ya in the morning. Good morning. It's like almost 7:30. Bitch is fucking tired. I'm so tired right now. But I finished the book like right after 4 last night, and I'm like a little okay. I liked it way better than Night of the Mannequins because it was a romance, so of course I did. Rebekah Weatherspoon, her sex scenes, especially in this one, were like top-notch superb. But I had some issues with this one. I feel like Vaughn and Shaw, the 2 men, I feel like their perspectives, the writing style was the exact same, so I was really confused. Like, I often had to like double check whose perspective I was reading from. I feel like because the attention split between both of them, I feel like they both have like underdeveloped backstories, and because their backstories feel underdeveloped and like their personalities feel underdeveloped to me, like it took me a lot longer to believe the relationship, because at the beginning I mean by the end I still didn't really see them as two different people, you know what I mean? So anyway, I still thought it was really cute. I'll see you in 80 pages. It is just around 9 and I finished This Is Pleasure. This basically follows a man who has been accused of harassment by several women, and it is from both his perspective and the perspective of one of his longtime female friends, and kind of like her reaction to this, like based on who he was to her in her life. And it's interesting because it's both talking about the ways that like people can be complicated and good to some people in their life and terrible to some people in their life, and it's really hard to reconcile like your experience with someone with the also true experiences of other people who have been hurt by this person. And so like it kind of discusses like that perspective, but also like the cognitive dissonance of men who like are willfully ignorant of the way they act, the way they act affects people. So it was interesting. I mean, it's like 83 pages. I don't know how I feel about it, so I'm gonna, let that simmer on the brain. I thought it was, well written, but it's like 9 now, and it took me a little longer than it should have in terms of like timing, because I got stuck on TikTok for a second. But I'm gonna like listen to my audiobook for Winter's Orbit now and like take a chill pill on the reading physically, because I've now read 3 books before 9 in the morning, which is already a lot. So once I finish Winter's Orbit, which I have 4 hours left of the audiobook, so it won't be like right now, but it'll be today, then yeah, know that I'm gonna like burn out by the end of the day. And I have like 2 other books here, and I think that I'm in the mood to read these ones more. So we'll see how I feel about them, and if I decide to like break up the physical reading with like an ebook or something. So yep, that's the update. Here's some nice little change of scenery for this update. I'm still in my pajamas. I'm probably gonna be wearing the same thing this whole video, and my hair looks literally disgusting. Okay, that's great. That's a good information for me to have. Anyway, I finished Winter's Orbit like 15 minutes ago. It's right about noon right now, so that took me about 3 hours off and on, because I was like talking to my mom and my sister and stuff. And oh my god, I loved it so much. It is so good. I don't know if I described what it was about earlier, but basically it is a sci-fi romance. Like, it's not like a sci-fi romance the way that Ice Planet Barbarians is a sci-fi romance, where they're like alien, it's like an alien romance novel. Like, this is like a sci-fi novel with a major romance. I would say it's like 60-40 politics romance. I will say I did not like understand or give a shit about most of the politics stuff, which is why I think I really can't give it like 5 stars or anything, but I loved the characters so much. It's about Prince Kiem, and basically he is kind of the family embarrassment. He's gotten his act together, but for a lot of his like teenage years, early 20s, he would like kind of like make a fool of himself in public. He was in the gossip magazines a lot, and he out of nowhere is told by the emperor that he needs to marry Count Janin, who was previously married to Prince Tom, like Kiem's distant cousin, because treaties in this world are settled with marriages, or like, shown like alliances through marriage. And so it is about this like forced marriage, which I love an arranged marriage trope, because it also kind of combines forced proximity, because they like have to share living arrangements, and sometimes it's like some good emotional miscommunication going on. I loved their relationship so much. There are no on-page sex scenes, tragically. I wish there was like even one, but there's not. I really loved that. That was so good. I'm like going back to listen to like my favorite chapters right now. I'm probably gonna take like a quick break, watch some YouTube videos, and then I'm going to start on All Systems Red. I'm kind of not in a literary fiction mood right now, which kind of sucks, because of course the books I got from the library are like all like literary fiction. So yeah, also again, sci-fi mood this month. What the hell is going on here? Literally haven't read sci-fi in 2 years, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, 4 in a week. I might watch Bridgerton with my friend Tatiana, but that's 4 books in one day. I will have finished 4 books today, and like, yes, I read most of Winter's Orbit yesterday and the day before, but it counts because I finished it today. So that's 4 books done today, and I would like to at least 2 more. I think 2 is the goal. Then it will have been 6 for the day, and that will, I think, definitely put me like at least only 1 or 2 books behind, no longer 6 books behind on my Goodreads goal. So yeah, feeling good. Winter's Orbit was so... Okay, here's the thing about the politics stuff, is that first, I just don't care, because that's not like what I'm interested in when I read. Like, I like the plot. Like, when I say the plot, I mean like the fact that there's kind of like a mystery, an investigation, because it turns out that Janen's previous husband was murdered. But every single time they kind of discovered new information, one of the characters would get sat down by someone in an authority position and be like, do you understand politics? And explain like the situation. And each time because it happens multiple times, the person who was describing it would be like even higher authority, and they would describe the political situation on an even larger like galactic scale, to like make the stakes are getting higher and higher. And every single time I was like, I don't understand what all these words mean. They don't mean anything to me, and I don't care. I want to see them kiss. Not just that. I just want to see them communicate and like be cute and happy. So yeah, I really liked that. What a good time. It's 3 o'clock and I decided to start Weather and Not All Systems Red because I'm a mood reader and I just do what my brain tells me to do the moment it tells me to do something, and there's no planning involved ever. Anyway, I'm 19 pages in. I think this book is kind of going to be about like depression and complacency. I'm not really sure yet. It's very literary. I'm also like just falling asleep while I read, and I did only get 3 hours of sleep last night, so I think I'm gonna take like a quick nap and then regroup. I watched 1 episode of Bridgerton with my friend Tatiana, then I hung out with my mom for a little, and then I hung out with my dog. So yeah. Hi, it is 5:45. I'm 100 pages into Weather, if you can see, and I don't know what this book is about. So yeah, we'll see, but I'm going to my uncle's house. I'm going to bring the book with me. I'm going to try and finish this before I leave, and I'm also going to bring All Systems Red. I'm going to finish out the day with this one. So these are going to be my last 2 books of the day, and I'm super excited about that. It's going to be good. I'm going to my uncle's house. He has ceviche. So excited. It's going to be great. So maybe there'll be a couple clips there. This video is already like longer than I thought it would be because I like put all my clips together in iMovie, and it's already 23 minutes, I think. I just talk so much. I talk so much all the time. I never stop. So I'm at my uncle's house. It's like 8:30. We're watching this show on the Food Network called Tournament of Champions, where it's like they create a bracket of like chefs, and then the chefs like face off, and tonight's the finale. So, and I got here and they had been watching like the episode before the finale, and I got invested real fast because I love cooking shows, so we're watching that now. Anyway, I just finished Weather by Jenny Offill. I don't know how to feel about it. It's very strange. I don't know if I said what it was about, but basically the description is like there's a woman named Lizzie who works in a library at a university, and she gets a side job answering the like emails and like mailing questions for a podcast run by a former like mentor of hers. And this podcast is kind of focused on climate change and not like world-ending stuff, but it's the mailing questions seem to be really being taken over by like end of days people. And she kind of becomes obsessed with like the idea of disaster psychology and the people who start planning for the end of the world. This is extremely strange, like in terms of it covers a lot of time. I'm pretty sure like maybe 2 years is covered over this book, but it doesn't feel like time is moving until it like mentions some sort of like event or I don't know, something like that in context. And then like halfway through the book, 2016 or an election happens, and it doesn't, like, there's no references to specific like famous people or times or events, but like the election happens, and then there's like a paragraph that's like young girls or women are being encouraged to get IUDs because they'll like outlast however long whatever is going to last. And then it kind of like devolves from there. I really enjoyed the second half because it was kind of like this, is it sci-fi or is it just this literary, like, she's becoming obsessed with doomsday prepping situation? I liked it, but I'm also like, did I like it? Several of the books I think I've read today were very like, I liked it or I appreciated it, but like, did I like it? I don't know. So it's 8:30 now, probably 8:45 by the time I'm gonna be done filming, because I'm gonna get some food too, and then I'm going to start All Systems Red by Martha Wells, because that's the next one I want to pick up. So yeah, I liked this. I did. I liked it more than I thought I would. I honestly don't know what I was thinking when I picked this up, because I like didn't know anything about it, and I can get bored really easily when I read, but it's also like something about like the cover or the title, or like, it was a very easy read. It moved really fast. And even when I wasn't particularly interested, it was still really easy to keep reading. So that's that. That's how I felt about that. Now I'm gonna head back downstairs and maybe get some food to eat. So I'm home now. I ended up leaving because my sister has to get up early tomorrow, and so I'm not watching the end of the cooking competition show. But I'm 35 pages into All Systems Red by Martha Wells, which is the first in the Murderbot series. So this is the novella about a security unit. It's a sci-fi world where they make security units that they're cyborgs, but they're not like mostly human, some robot cyborgs. Like, they're robots with a like organic, like grown body parts, but they're mostly robots, you know what I mean? Anyway, in this security unit has broken their like programming and like basically watched 35,000 hours of like soap operas and TV and books and movies and stuff, and calls itself Murderbot, like has a personality and stuff. That's really all I know about it so far. I think there's going to be some sort of like mystery investigation in this. I'm really excited about that. I'm glad that I'm reading it physically, because something about Murderbot is technically they're genderless. They're a robot, right? And I know that the audiobooks are read by a like man narrating them, and I know that a lot of people, like, again, genderless robot, but I wanted to read it physically because I want to be able to project onto Murderbot. Like, in my head, in my heart, Murderbot is a woman, you know what I mean? Because I'm like projecting, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to do that if I was listening to the audiobooks. So I'm glad that I'm reading it, and it's good so far. It's really funny. I think I've been finding that I'm like interested in sci-fi, but at the same time I feel like sci-fi needs to have like that sense of humor and aesthetics, or else I like don't enjoy it if it's like too serious. Because when I think of sci-fi things that I like, the first thing that comes to mind are like not books, they're movies, you know what I mean? Because I love like the aesthetics and campiness of sci-fi. I think my favorite sci-fi thing ever is The Fifth Element, you know what I mean? Like, I need that like vibe, and I feel like this kind of has that, even though I'm only like, again, 35 pages in. And it's 10 o'clock now, so I have 2 hours left to read to page 149, so just over 100 pages. So I can do that. Let's do this. We did it, folks, and with 40 minutes to go, it's 11:20 right now, and I finished Murderbot, or All Systems Red. I loved it. It was so good. I wish it was like a tad longer. Like, I loved the mystery. I loved like the investigation. I wish there was just like one more step in the like one more puzzle, like piece in the chain, just to make it a little longer, because it was like a little easy almost. But oh my god, this was so good, so fun. I can't wait to read like the next ones. I think I want to like buy all of them. I don't know. Maybe eventually. I'll read them through the library with like the ebooks, and then, or I'll get them as gifts. Who knows? But this was so good. Oh my god. Okay, let me gather all my books up. Like, I have 40 minutes left. Should I start another book? I think I'm going to start another book. Okay, so the ebooks that I have out from the library right now are The Mirror Season by Anne-Marie McLemore and Moon of the Crusted Snow. I don't know the author's name, but I think I'm going to start The Mirror Season because that's the one that I have less time with, because I just got Moon of the Crusted Snow today and I only have 9 days left with The Mirror Season. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read for 40 minutes, I guess. And then at midnight, I will do a little wrap up because it will have been 24 hours. This is probably like my most successful, like, one-day readathon ever. I mean, like, I know I was only reading short books, so it does make it a little bit easier for me. And I know I read more books way more in the morning than I did in the afternoon, but that always happens to me. I get burnt out pretty fast and I like get lazy in the afternoon, or I'm like tired, so I take a nap, which is what I did today. Overall, I'm really happy. Like, I'm pretty sure I read like 700 pages today. Is that right? I was gonna check on my spreadsheet, but my computer is booting up and it's gonna take too long to do all this math. So I'm gonna start it on The Mirror Season and talk to you in 40 minutes. The Mirror Season is Anne-Marie McLemore's newest release, and I believe it is about 2 teenagers, and they are both sexually assaulted at the same party on the same night, and they kind of like bond over it, or it's like working through their trauma. And there's also like a touch of magical realism. The only other book by them that I've read before was Dark and Deepest Red, which I didn't like love, but I'm interested to see like how they're going to, you know, tell a different story, because that was like kind of historical fantasy and this is like fully contemporary. And there's like a couple other of their books that I'm interested in. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll see you in a bit. Happy midnight. We made it. It is officially the next day. I have work in 10 hours. That gives me plenty of time to get a full night of sleep. And I did the math. And according to my calculator, I read, including physical books and ebooks, not including the audiobook because I can't calculate that, I read over 800 pages today. Which seems wrong. It feels wrong because, I mean, look at these, how tiny these are. That is more than I read in one day in years, probably. I don't think I've read that much in one day. Like, I can't even remember the last time that happened. This has been like an extremely successful day, and I don't understand. Was it because I was reading so many different things? Like, maybe Alice is getting really excited about this library receipt, so I'm just going to take that away from her so the noise doesn't get annoying. Anyway, what a good day. So let's do a little recap. Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones kicked off the night. I feel weird about this book because objectively I can see like what it was going for, and it did that very successfully. And I like Stephen Graham Jones's like perspective and his kind of like attitude, and like I loved the last book I read by him, and this one I get it, but I didn't enjoy reading this like at all. It just kind of made me sad and uncomfortable. So I don't really know what I'm gonna rate that one, but that's like the vibe for that. And then I read Harbor, which is like polyamorous. Again, this one was like extremely enjoyable reading experience. Like, I loved the story, I loved reading the book, it was so fun. The sex scenes were top tier, but I have like objective issues with it that kind of prevent me from like rating it too highly. Probably gonna give that book like 3.5 stars. That was a good one. And then I read This Is Pleasure by Mary Gateskill. Again, objectively, I see what this book is accomplishing, and I see what like the goal is, because it's just kind of like adding to like the nuance of the Me Too movement and like the discussions around it. So I find that really interesting, and it was well written. I liked the writing, and I liked the not, I didn't like the story, but you know what I mean. But I don't know, I feel very neutral about this. So I guess you'll see my wrap up when I decide to rate it. Super helpful, I know. And then I finished Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I guess I have been saying the names. I have. Yeah, Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I loved this in my heart. Like the relationships, the characters, the emotions, so good. Like I said earlier, I don't give a shit about politics. So probably like 4.5 stars for this one. Like honestly, 4.5 stars. Pretty, like that was good. I will say one of the main characters, like there's like 2 perspective characters, Jaden and Kiam, and one of the main characters was previously in an abusive relationship, and it is really hard and kind of heartbreaking to read from that character's perspective sometimes, because it's a lot of like really self-blaming thought processes. So if that could be triggering for someone to like read from that perspective for like a lot of the book, because it takes like obviously a long time to like kind of delve into that and explore that and deconstruct this character's like mindset, it's really hard to read. But it's, oh my god, I love them so much. Honestly, I'm thinking about it and it's kind of bothering me now. Why is it called Winter's Orbit? Like, did I miss something? Is that name like relevant to anything? I don't know. Well, then I took like a 5-hour break from reading, and then I read Weather by Jenny Offill. I think another reason I've been able to read so many books today is that they all have like pretty either big font or like really spaced out formatting. Like Weather is formatted like it's really spaced out in terms of like the paragraphs. So, and then yeah, I don't know, that might have made it easier. Whether I don't know, I really liked the second half of this more than the first, like as it kind of devolves into like that, the exploration of like the doomsday mindset, especially set against like the hypothetical, almost exaggerated after effects of the 2016 election. I don't know, it was just like really like interesting. I enjoyed that, but like again, I feel like kind of neutral about this because it was really easy to read, but I wasn't like particularly moved by it. So I don't know. And then I have All Systems Red. Oh my gosh, this was so quick and so fast. You just got the wrap up for this, so I don't really need to go over this again. This is probably going to be like a 4.5 star as well. So both of the sci-fis like hitting it out of the park today, which is like not usually my genre. So very surprising, shocked in my own taste. And then Mirror Season, which I just started. I think I literally read 20 pages of it, so haven't gotten that far in, but that is all I'm gonna do today. I've been talking for a really long time right now, and this video is going to end up being like 1,000,000 hours long. I hope you enjoyed. This was extremely successful. I'm super happy. I'm probably gonna end up doing like, I'm gonna try to do more of these like themed vlogs because I do really like having specific goals, and I've kind of been getting like tired of how aimless my vlogs have been lately, even though I do enjoy vlogging. But I think I'm just like in a reading mood right now, which has been really nice after the past couple months. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you're gonna read any of these, or if I, let you know about some books you hadn't heard about before. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!